doing it, and I am committed. And everything's falling apart. All right, let's see. See, this is what was happening for me with Sagittarius the first time, but I had gotten a weird phone call. So I had some scattered energy with that reading, so I thought I'd honor you guys and give you my full attention with a little bit more zen. I do realize that I probably am just more self-critical than anything, but I just wanted to do that. Let me double check I got sound. And I do. You know what? I always feel like Mercury retrograde comes for me like weeks ahead of time. Let's take a look and see what energy is going on for you. Enough screwing around, right? Okay, here we go. All right, Sagittarius, this is you. Let's do your general spread first. Thank you for your patience. Okay, first thing that comes out is the Lover's card. You've got the King of Swords, the Hangman, the Nine of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. Interesting combination. It's kind of eclectic. So it makes me want to ask the question if Sagittarius is feeling scattered right now, because this is still the same energy. I should have just trusted myself. But I have the Lover's card and the King of Swords. Now the Lover's card has to do with duality. It's also a little bit of that energy of feeling as if there's two sides to a story and two individuals that are very different coming together in the middle. Now this could be, a lot of times this comes up with conflict or mostly like duality. It's not a benefic card all the way like a lot of people believe that it is. I know that's my own personal opinion, but whenever I see this card, there always seems to be just, I call it the tango. There's never like 100% together, but it's just a little bit of that antagonizing quality to it, or struggle. Just all the passion and then the connection or the communication isn't there, but the connection is strong. We have the King of Swords, and this could be anybody. This doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, a lover, but this is somebody where that dynamic is super strong. We have the King of Swords, which is victory. Now there's more to that. I'll get to it in just a second. We have the Hangman. So if you're feeling stuck, there's a bunch of cards that are telling me that Sagittarius is feeling stuck or in between places, or that they can't really move, right? We've got the King of Swords, or Knight of Swords. Damn it. Woo-saw. 10 of Swords here. And this is our card for feeling like stuck maybe a little bit, or even feeling as if you've got too many obligations, right? Being pulled in every different direction. If you look here, sometimes this is my card for jail, right? It's not fun pulling this card when they ask about a legal matter, but this structure around here looks like bars. So you're feeling restricted. Now, whether that is your own mental well-being or whether that's a situation where you feel as if things are holding you back, this is that sensation of feeling kind of trapped. Alternately, you've got the Five of Wands, which is arguments or feeling backed into a corner, or there's criticism going on. I'm also picking up, in addition to that, that Sagittarius has the Eight of Coins, which is working a lot, or feeling as if every minute is taken up by some activity or another. If you look here, Eight of Coins, it's labor. He's on one foot because he's getting ready to step into another. So this card has to do with busyness, okay? I will tell you, Sagittarius, though you won't want to admit it, the Queen of Cups tells us that you might be feeling emotional or sweetened a little bit. It could be both, right? It could be a little bit of sweetness. It could be a little bit of just feeling emotional. And, you know, I love when I say this, the first thing people say is, oh my God, I'm not emotional. There's nothing wrong with emotions. There's nothing wrong with expressing them, feeling them. They're part of everyday life. Every moment of every single day is all about emotions. Now, whether we act on that and play, you know, respond versus react, or react versus respond, is a whole other matter. But it might just be telling us with the Queen of Cups. Cups is love, right? Cups is emotions, how we emote, how we work through our emotions. Now the Queen has to do with like this overabundance of that kind of energy. So if you find like emotions are right on the surface, that's kind of going around right now. If you guys are on my Facebook, you'll see that I post a photo of a screenshot of Willow Smith's Instagram, where she had just was bawling, and she said, why do I feel so much? That might be a little bit of sense of what you have coming. So expect those emotions to come riding through, and just deal with them with some aplomb, you know, just nothing we can do. We have the Queen of Swords too, with this sensation of wanting to walk away from some things. If you look here, the Queen of Swords shows us the dead tree, right, in the background. And this is walking away from a situation that doesn't serve us. We also have the Magician, which is speaking about it. It's go time. Things are necessary at this moment, and you're going to be making some moves. For some of you, this indicates a new relationship. We have the Page of Cups directly after the Magician, and perhaps you want to start over, or perhaps it's you speaking to wanting to do things better in the relationship that you are in, because the Page of Cups isn't necessarily just you being having a new relationship. It's also that renewal or that honeymoon phase in the relationship that you're in. So when I say things like that, it's not necessarily you jumping ship and moving on to something else, but there's a lot of that new, you know, more sexy time, maybe a little bit of that new relationship energy, you know, getting to know somebody, chit-chatting a lot, that kind of thing. So we also have the King of Cups. With the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, you'll find yourself having a balance between like wanting to lose your shit and then having like really good things to say when you're in these emotional moments. I do see the Empress as well. The Empress is feminine energy. Now remember, a lot of times I'll talk about feminine and masculine energy that doesn't have anything to do with male or female. It's whether you're being direct or nurturing, etc. But with the Empress in charge here in this placement, it tells us that you're thinking more along the lines of how you're going to nurture your relationships and how you're going to nurture things rather than like picking them apart and reassembling them in the way you want them to. You also have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is your intuition. Trust yourself. That's all I can say about that. Secrets coming to light. We have a lot of that energy coming up with the Mercury retrograde, the way it's happening. If you want to check out on my YouTube, there's a couple clicks there on who I follow and support. Nightlight Astrology. He's just absolutely brilliant with how he describes the aspects, and he just has such a beautiful spiritual twist to things, so it keeps it in perspective and it doesn't always come across as the sky is falling, so to speak. But the High Priestess is coming into play. So instincts, your gut feeling, all of those things, trust them implicitly. Don't be afraid to speak on those. I call it popcorn. I have these thoughts in my head sometimes and I'm like, what's this about a red car? And they're like, how do you do that? Because I'm paying attention to those little popcorns that pop in my head. So with your High Priestess in play, listen to the subtleties, listen to the small things that aren't being spoken, look at body language, etc. Trying to look here. I have the Nine of Cups. This isn't a terrible reading, guys. Just emotional, feeling stuck, nothing really crazy going on except emotions. However, those can run our life. We do have the Nine of Cups, which tells us that you do have some celebration coming up. Maybe it's a party, maybe it's going out of town or an anniversary or a birthday. This tells us that there is something fun coming for you the end of this week. All right, I am going to pull some cards for you from Mystic Dreamer, and we will do your moon reading for those of you that are Sagittarius moon, but hang out with me if you're not, because this will give some insight on how you're thinking and feeling. Just as I talked about Nightlight Astrology, I get a notification. He just posted a video too, so he's brilliant. Keeps me studying. Book your one-on-one, karmaondeck.com, if you want to look at some of these insights in depth. There's also classes, retreats coming up soon. I've got some more news coming for you guys. I can't wait. But this time I'm keeping a lid on it until I actually get to broadcast what's going on. All right, here we go. Sagittarius moon. First thing that comes up, King of Wands, how your leadership looks. Two of Swords, indecision. Seven of Swords, are you being sneaky? So the Seven of Swords is literally, you know, it's not the Four of Swords, which is taking something, or Four of Pentacles, which is taking something that doesn't belong to you. But if you look at this, the Seven of Swords literal representation means she's a woman picking up objects after a battlefield. She's collecting the swords, so it's making good of a bad situation. But sometimes this is sneaky, like she's not going to go out there when everybody's there. She's going to do it when nobody's around. So this card has always been an indicator for me that tells me that something isn't being played it's like under the table. Something's not being played straight out front of everyone. What I'm seeing is Five of Wands and Three of Cups. And maybe it's just like you keeping your shit private and you don't want people in your business and you're just like making good of whatever and just taking charge of the situation instead of like pouting, right? I am seeing the Knight of Swords, the Sun card, the Three of Wands, the Three of Cups. Let's see here what these are all telling me. There's a little more to be said about this. Let me pull the rest. Hold, please. All right. So don't be surprised if you're feeling a little frustrated and you're losing hope in your situation. You have the Strength card here with the Five of Pentacles, which tells me you're going to have to pull on wisdom and experience, and you're going to have to use a little of that EQ we were talking about earlier. You have the Empress card again, which talks to us about nurturing. It also talks to us about timelines. Like you can't force things. You have to let them unfold and develop in front of you. Be careful of your attitude. I feel like you're going to kind of lash out a little bit with the Knight of Swords. So don't be surprised if you feel like telling somebody the bird, right? And just letting it out because they deserve to hear it. Keep your guard up a little bit. You have the Seven of Wands where you don't want to invite anybody close to you right now, because I'm seeing that you're either going through or you're thinking of an argument or arguments that you'd had. And that's just like coloring how you're behaving right now, so that you're just really focused on having a good time. Three of Cups, right? You're really focused on making the best out of what's going on around you, regardless of like how heavy things feel or whatever. You're like reframing your attitude so that you have enjoyment and pleasure and looking on the bright side. I also see the Three of Wands. There's someone that you're watching or someone that you are paying attention to, or maybe you're on the internet or social media or on the computer quite a bit in this next little bit. Watching for something to come in. For some of you, this might be a job opportunity, looking at a house, something like that, or even just like looking for things on the internet for job opportunities. Three of Wands is watching and waiting for your ship to come in. And if you look here, there's nothing there yet. So this is something I feel like you've been watching for a long time and will continue to do so until things kind of swoop into place. Now, we do have the Ace of Pentacles, and that's our card it's a trump card, right? It's our trump card for money. It tells us that you're thinking about protecting your money, really, because you have the Seven of Wands in front of it. So every decision that you're making right now is about doing the right thing when it comes to that, as also indicated by the leader card, which was the King of Swords in the very beginning. So take leadership, be decisive, and remember that this is transitional, this feeling of like lacking hope, because we have the Five of Pentacles, which is our card for having that idea of like, I don't have very much faith in this situation. So as you're going through these, just know that it's a phase, right? It's situational from what I'm seeing. And the wisdom that you have there with the Strength card will carry you through and not being reactive. Let's pull your card from Divination of the Ancients and see what your focus is for this week, or what your takeaway is. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love your company there. You can see the picture-in-picture there of the cards in play. So if you have any questions or what I'm talking about. And I also do talk quite a bit about what the cards are, because I teach tarot, and it's fun to be able to tell you what this is actually influencing the reading instead of just me talking out the side of my face. All right, so let's pull a card for you from Divination of the Ancients. And it's footprints. So this card is direction, footprints, right? So what this card is asking you to do is take a look at where you're going. Where have you decided to go? Or are you just on the road and you don't even know how you got there? So what is it that you're leaving behind? Where is it that you're going, and are you clear? So clarity is something that you're being asked for at this phase right now. And I think that if you take your head up a little bit out of your situation and start to look outward, you might see that things are a little better than you think they are. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm going to come right back after this and do Capricorn. So I'll see you in a minute. Love and light.